Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke establish the Last Supper as a Passover Seder meal. And there are rituals that precede and follow the meal. And after eating the Paschal lamb toward the end of the meal, it includes a breaking of bread in which Jesus departs from the ritual words to say, "This is my body that is for you." It includes a cup of wine in which he departs from the ritual words to say, "This cup is the new covenant in my blood." It's the first Mass ever offered and the institution of the sacrament of the Holy Eucharist. He will also add, "Do this in memory of me." It is the command that ordains the apostles as his first priests, bishops, and establishes the sacrament of holy orders, so they can be empowered to do this, to offer the new covenant Passover Seder meal, the Mass. Tonight, I would like to highlight the focus found in the Gospel of John. We know the structure of the Last Supper because a Seder meal is essentially the same today as it was in the time of Jesus. And tonight, I would like to cover the 3 steps that precede the meal. It begins with the oldest woman of the house lighting the Passover candles and saying, "Blessed are you, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who has sanctified us by your commandments and commanded us to kindle the festival of lights. May our homes be consecrated, O God, by the light of your countenance, shining upon us in blessing and bring us peace." Secondly, the first cup of wine is raised, the cup of sanctification. The oldest man in the house reminds everyone that we are made holy by God and his commandments, that what we are doing tonight is holy. Then there is a washing of hands. Each person dips his hands into the water 3 times, asking God to create in us clean hearts. Why 3 times? To recall the great patriarchs Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. At the Last Supper, Jesus is gathered with his 12 apostles, including the one who has already made plans to betray him, Judas Iscariot. And Jesus knows his plans. And Jesus knows this is his last meal. Being his last night, there was undoubtedly much reflection. There are 21 chapters in the Gospel of John. 6 are dedicated to this one evening. What was Jesus thinking? First, lighting the Passover candles. The Gospels don't mention anyone in the upper room besides Jesus and the apostles, the 12. So perhaps Jesus gets up and lights the Passover candles himself. What was he thinking? The light of the world was lighting the Passover candles. Perhaps he was thinking of his mother, who was the one to light the candles when he was a boy. According to this Gospel of John, the last words he spoke in public included these: "I came into the world as light, so that everyone who believes in me might not remain in darkness." Perhaps these are some of his thoughts. Second, the cup of sanctification. Though Jesus is not the oldest man in the room, Jesus is the rabbi, the master teacher, so he leads the prayer with the first cup of wine. We are made holy by God. What we are doing tonight is holy. Holding the cup, perhaps Jesus thinks of his first miracle at Cana, accomplished at the request of his mother. Water turned into fine wine. Perhaps he thinks of all the parables in which he mentions vineyards, including the one directed at the Pharisees that spoke of tenant farmers who abused the landowner's servants, the prophets. And when they saw the beloved son of the landowner, said, "This is the heir. Let us kill him, that the inheritance may become ours." Perhaps he recalls the words on the Feast of Tabernacles, "Let anyone who thirsts come to me and drink." At this same meal, Jesus will remind us, "I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever remains in me, and I in him, will bear much fruit, because without me, you can do nothing." He probably had these thoughts and more. Third, the washing ceremony. As he dips his hand in the water 3 times, he recalls Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Perhaps Jesus recalls his own baptism in the Jordan when the heavens were opened and he saw the Spirit of God descending like a dove coming upon him, and a voice from the heavens saying, "This is my beloved Son, with whom I am well pleased." Perhaps he's thinking of all those baptisms in which people will become sons and daughters, his brothers and sisters throughout the centuries. Perhaps he thinks of you and of me. While thinking of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, he may be thinking of how Abraham, our father in faith, was willing to sacrifice his only beloved son, Isaac. How Isaac did not resist the possibility of being sacrificed, and how Isaac's son Jacob is testimony that Isaac survived his sacrifice. In addition to the 3 patriarchs, Jesus may have been thinking of the threefold formula of baptism in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, and thinking of the threefold immersion or pourings for baptism. But baptism was on his mind. Obviously, there was something more on Jesus' mind because he does something different tonight. Fully aware that the Father had put everything into his power and that he had come from God and was returning to God, he rose from supper, took off his outer garments. He took a towel and tied it around his waist. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the disciples' feet and dry them with a towel around his waist. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Master, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus answered and said to him, "What I am doing you do not understand now, but you will understand later." Peter said to him, "You will never wash my feet." Jesus answered him, "Unless I wash you, you will have no inheritance with me." Receiving an inheritance through a washing? Baptism? Simon Peter said to him, "Master, then not only my feet, but my hands and head as well." Jesus said to him, "Whoever has bathed has no need except to have his feet washed, for he is clean all over." Now, this is our sign that he's definitely talking about baptism. Jesus wasn't suggesting that by washing one's feet, your whole physical body is clean all over. This is a spiritual washing, which makes someone clean all over. And we know of baptisms of full body immersions and pouring water over the head, but pouring water over feet? Why the feet? Because tonight, this washing will have a second purpose. listen." So when he had washed their feet and put his garments back on and reclined at table again, he said to them, "Do you realize what I have done for you? You call me teacher and master, and rightly so, for indeed I am. If I, therefore, the master and teacher, have washed your feet, you ought to wash one another's feet. I have given you a model to follow, so that as I have done for you, you should also do." Why baptize their feet? Because Jesus also wants to show them what baptism is calling us to do for one another. Tonight's foot washing ceremony reminds us of the lesson of the Last Supper. But tonight's ceremony isn't the fulfillment of what Jesus is asking us to do. The fulfillment is in every holy moment when we make a choice to serve someone else in love and in humility without expecting anything in return, even to the point of laying down our lives for one another. Tonight's lesson at this New Covenant Passover Seder meal reminds us of how we are to live our baptisms.